Welcome back, lads and ladettes, to episode 87. And before we go any further, I think you hear the number 87, really only one player comes to mind if you're a Canadian, maybe if you are American too. Who knows? Maybe this guy haunts your dreams at night. Every July 1st, your social media feeds are just filled with images and video of this one specific player. Somebody who is almost exclusively referred to as a nickname that is heard. I think it just like it's you have the great one, and then you have this player's nickname because it's just so common, and he's that iconic and that like dominant in his sport that he just has that nickname that just sticks with him because he's the guy, and he is Sid the Kid.
Yeah, I was trying to like get prepared for a player battle for this episode 87, and I was looking through like guys who wore number 87, and obviously this like Sid was gonna be one of the contestants in this player battle. That was a no-brainer, but I just kept thinking like anybody that we put him up against, I don't like. There's one guy really, and that's Rob Gronkowski. You kind of brought it up. Shout out Rob Gronkowski. He's another notable guy that wears number 87, but like I just couldn't see any competition that I personally would give to another guy who wore 87 over Crosby. Like, I just think no matter what it is, Cros like has that mental determination to win anything and everything that he's going to go into. So it doesn't even matter. Like, it could be a weightlifting competition and he's going to beat Gronk because he wants to win. Like, he's
like the hockey player Kobe Bryant, and just in terms of his mental state.
Yeah, but like in the most quiet way too. Like he's just like, so nobody knows, but he's just like that. But like you could just give him any competition, I think, and he'd just win. Like honestly, I know Gronk parties really hard, and like probably like I know he's like sponsored by a CBD company and probably smokes a lot of weed. But like I feel like if you're like Sid, like you gotta outsmoke Rob Gronkowski, or you gotta outdrink Rob Gronkowski. Be like, all right, let's go. Like you just beat Gronk. Like you wouldn't care. You just go in private so nobody could see it happen, or just like a select group of people, and you just drink Gronk under the table and just dummy him because he wants to win.
Phones at the door, so there's no evidence of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
Low-key rumors he's going around banging Eva Mendes, or who is that? Was it the hot wife from the other guys? Is that Eva Mendes?
Was Crosby was tied to that?
Yeah,
really. Yeah, he's got a fiance now. I'm pretty sure. I think it's his fiance, but
yeah, it is Eva Mendes. Weird rumors circulating that Sid the Kid was tied to Eva Mendes, just like one of the hottest women on planet Earth, going about his collecting phones at the doors, no video evidence. He's a humble guy like that.
The Jeter treatment.
Yeah, doesn't need anybody to see his accomplishments. He knows he's got that internal, intrinsic motivation. Some might say.
Yeah, but honestly, I think Sid is still deserving of a player introduction here, just because the type of player that he is, he's so prominent and his rap sheet is so big. Like when I was putting together this player intro and I compared it to the other player intros we've done, like a bunch of the other guys, I have certain key points that I put in here and I make sure I hit on them. So there's like 4 or 5 points that each guy gets to go through, and I list them all off and accomplishments. Some of them have a lot, some of them have few, some of them have none, whatever the case may be. But a guy like Sidney Crosby, when I'm putting together this sheet of all the things that he does and he's accomplished in his career, I think it's very, very deserving of a player introduction. So let me just rattle off Sid's stats, everything there is to know about Sidney Crosby here. Drafted first overall in the 2005 NHL entry draft by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Heading into his 17th season in the NHL, having played all of his previous 16 seasons thus far with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Through 1,039 games played, he's totaled 486 goals and 839 assists for 1,325 points, putting together a 1.28 points per game average. He wore the A for the first 2 seasons in the NHL right into his rookie season before graduating to captaincy with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He won CHL Player of the Year, CHL Rookie of the Year, CHL Top Scorer, QMJHL MVP, QMJHL Most Assists, QMJHL Most Points, QMJHL Offensive Player of the Year, and a World Junior Silver Medal, all in his rookie season in the NHL. He followed up his rookie season with all of those accomplishments minus the rookie accomplishments in his second year.
A rookie in the CHL.
Yes.
NHL, rookie in the CHL. So that would have made him, what, 15, 16 years old? God damn.
Yeah. Yeah. A QMJHL champion, a Memorial Cup champion, a World Junior gold medalist, a World Championship gold medalist, a World Cup gold medalist, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, a recipient of the Marc Messier Leadership Award, a 2-time Maurice Richard Trophy winner, a 2-time Art Ross Trophy winner, a 2-time Hart Trophy winner, a 3-time Ted Lindsay Award winner, a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, and 2-time Conn Smythe Award recipient, capping off the triple Gold Club member status. A guy who has been deemed one of the top 100 players to ever play the game of hockey, and widely considered one of the top 10 to ever do it. The man who gave us the golden goal and has held one of the coolest nicknames to date. A 5'11", 201-pound center from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, Sid The Kid Crosby.
Wow. An introduction. That's a man, like, all of his accolades that any good? Like, holy crap, this guy is like won at every level. Every year he just finds a way to win. It's that quiet determination, that competitive edge. I think Sidney Crosby is kind of like, I know he's kind of got that Mamba mentality. We tied him to Kobe Bryant earlier in the episode, built to win. But in terms of like the pressure that this guy's had, it goes way back to like the time he was like 11, 12 years old. I know literally when he was like 14 he was well in the CHL when he was young. He was on the World Junior team, 15-year-old or 15-year-old. And then
I guess he must have been 16.
Yeah, he must have been 16. And his jersey got stolen because I remember there's a whole thing on the news how like everybody knew he was like the second coming, and someone stole his jersey in the air, his World Junior jersey, and there's a whole like thing about that. And then I remember watching the commercial on TSN where they have like Sidney Crosby talking about like, oh, wouldn't it be great to wake up and do whatever? And it cuts to an interview of him as like a young kid being interviewed because reporters and everybody knew he was. So I would compare like Kobe and the competitive mental like aspect, and then just a killer, cold-blooded killer. Then the LeBron aspect of like just this guy has been so involved, and like, the pressure from the media has been surrounding this guy forever.
It's really impressive too what he's been able to do, like keeping himself out of the spotlight despite being so in it.
Yeah, it is impressive. It's an art. It's an art form. This guy crafts seriously and never been involved in any scandals. Never been like a look at me kind of guy. Never been a dick. From what I've understood, always the kind of guy to stop and like dish out autographs and to like leave his fan. A humble guy, good Canadian boy.
I just want to like read off that rookie year stuff again because there's more things that like I didn't include in here. Some of them were like some little rinky dink awards or whatever, but like he still won them. But like you just go into CHL Player of the Year, CHL Rookie of the Year, CHL Top Scorer, QMJHL MVP, QMJHL Most Assists, Most Points, and Offensive Player of the Year, and World Junior Silver Medal. That was in his rookie year. He won all of those things again the next year. Just subtract the Rookie of the Year. I'm pretty sure he was CHL MVP, and that next year they won the Memorial Cup. Like I don't know if you've heard this story or these things, but like it's not just a story. Like it's happened. It did happen. There's like a documentary about how this happened and what they did. But the years he was in Rimouski, the ticket prices like all went up because just it wasn't just cost of admission, it was cost to see Sid. And then the opposing teams that they would travel to play against, every time Sid came to town, their ticket prices spiked. Like the team set their ticket prices in advance for when Crosby was going to be there as a higher ticket price. Like it wasn't even like, oh, scalpers or people reselling tickets, the resale value was higher. Like, no, the team straight up just valued their tickets higher every time Sidney Crosby came to town. They would have weekends where it would be like a back-to-back against Rimouski, and like ticket prices for that weekend, like they were just selling packages like nobody's business because everyone just wanted to see Sid the Kid. Like imagine, and I know this could never happen, but like imagine like in the NHL, like McDavid's coming to town, the Leafs bump up the ticket price for a game against the Oilers just because McDavid's coming. And I know on the NHL level it's different, and like that didn't happen with Sid coming to the NHL. Like obviously teams can't just or aren't just gonna like bump ticket prices like that. Like that would be a little bit absurd. But like you think about the resale value on the street, like when McDavid or Crosby or Ovechkin comes to town to Toronto, like ticket prices are going to go up because the cost to see that guy. But just the team itself setting the standard of the price at a higher level because Crosby's coming to town is just such a remarkable level of like appreciation for his greatness.
Yeah, man, that's absurd. And I think they do that to some extent. Not so much for one player specifically, but I'm pretty sure if like Toronto was to play Tampa Bay, the ticket prices would be higher than if they were to play, like, I don't know, Buffalo.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like, especially at that level though, before it's really like the be all and end all, like as much as the CHL is like elite level hockey, it's not like that's unheard of to change the ticket price. Like that's, and then not to just to like kind of put another feather in his cap as if he didn't have enough. I think Crosby may have been one of the first guys ever to put like his number as his birth year, and then think about the amount of players who have done that after him. Like so many guys. I'm pretty sure Kane does it. Is Kane born in 1988?
I don't know. Actually, that would be a good thing to look up.
But I know like whoever, like the first guy came to my mind for some reason is Sam Bennett. It's a horrible example, but he does. I think McKinnon does it. Stamkos might do it. Like there's a bunch of players, and even guys our age would like be 98. And I can't think of anyone who was 86 because they were born in 86. Kucherov, maybe.
But you know what, too? Like, I think it's kind of funny because you talk about McKinnon doing his number 96 because of his birth year. McKinnon, if you've ever heard him talk about stuff, like he's from Cole Harbor as well. He idolized Crosby. I've heard him say like anything and everything Sid did, he wanted to do. So he would like he went to Shattuck because Sid went to Shattuck. Like he did all these things and like was looking at schools there and like wanted to play in the queue because Sid played in the queue and like wanted to do certain training because Sid did certain training. And then like when he was 15 years old, he got to train with Crosby and said like he couldn't even talk to him. He was so excited. Like I heard this story actually, and it just goes to speak to the greatness of Sid is like McKinnon said that he showed up to a training session that he was going to be working out with Sid. And he showed up like a bit early and started working out with the trainer before Sid even got there so that Sid would know like he worked hard. And then the trainer told him to do something. And let's say it was like high knees there and back. Sid and the trainer and McKinnon's dad were talking while McKinnon was doing the high knees. And McKinnon didn't want to like stop and show Sid that he would stop. So he just kept doing high knees there and back, like over and over and over again, just to impress Sid. Like, it's just kind of funny. Like you talk about guys doing things because Sid did them. Like this is a guy who did everything, has done everything in his hockey career because he was like, I want to be Sidney Crosby, and even down to the number after the birth year.
Yeah. Wow. That's it. It's worked out pretty well for him. Like,
yeah. He's a stud.
No, man, like, Sidney Crosby really like paved the way. The guy is like he's a stud, man. Like there's no other way. You can't. He's probably the greatest player we will ever like in terms of what he did for the game too, in our generation. I don't even think McDavid will do that.
Yeah, it would be kind of interesting
playing in a Canadian market too. Like unless McDavid pulls a Gretz and like goes to Seattle or like a random new market at some point in his career. Gretzky did to grow the game for the States. Like, I don't know. I think Sid, I don't know. Maybe that's the debate for another episode.
Yeah. Well, you know what? One thing actually that Sid doesn't have on his resume, which is probably too bad. And he probably doesn't fret over it, but like he doesn't have Rookie of the Year because OV won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's unfortunate though. That is unfortunate because OV came in a year later. So he's older than Crosby. But then there was the lockout year and he couldn't play. And yeah, I guess that kind of sucks. But I mean, come on, what's
yeah, I know.
One Calder to the list of other things. It doesn't really hold a candle in the grand scheme of things.
Well, I just want to look at this too. These are some funny things about Sid here. So his first year in the NHL, 81 games played, 102 points. Like, absolutely mental. This guy's on over a point per game pace, as I mentioned, 1.28 points per game in his entire NHL career. Like, that's nuts. And then I want to just quickly touch on what you said about the birthday thing. Not only was he born in 1987, but he was born on August 7th, which is the 8th month of the year and the 7th day. So another 8-7. And then he has an $8.7 million contract. This one was kind of funny to me.
Which he just randomly decided that was good enough for me.
Yeah, yeah. This one is kind of funny to me though. Crosby in his career in 16 NHL seasons has 699 penalty minutes. In his first season, he had 110. So since then, he's averaged 39 penalty minutes a year. In his first season, he had 110 though, which I think is kind of funny. This guy had 110 penalty minutes, 102 points. Like, it's just kind of funny, like how this guy has gone throughout his career and just being so incredible. And then going to like the golden goal, like it's something that every year on Canada Day, it gets posted up there of like, happy Canada Day, everyone. And it's just Crosby celebrating, like skating behind the net. That goal is so iconic too. The fact you talk about growing the game or just like the popularity of the sport and people falling for Hockey Canada or the sport of hockey in general, like he did that at the Vancouver Olympics. And you want to talk about like things that just build up and become even more special. That was the Olympics where we won like the first medal on home soil. And then it turned into, we had a record for gold medals at the Olympic Games, and then gold medals like on home soil, and then medals on home soil, medals at the Olympic Games. Like we were winning all of these events in Vancouver. The women's hockey wins gold that year in Vancouver again. And then the final show of the whole Olympics, like the last event of all the Olympics, is the gold medal hockey game every single Winter Olympics. And for Canada to go out with a gold medal, like you think about all those Canadian athletes in the athletes village, how they go and watch each other's games and stuff. Imagine not just the Canadian fans in attendance that night, but the Canadian athletes who have all won gold medals to this point and have had such an incredible Olympics, getting to celebrate it in their own country. And then you go to that final game and you get to watch the guys that you've been probably partying with for the last like 3 weeks, because it's just like a huge party at the Olympics, they say.
Yeah, dude, I've heard that some disgusting things village, and they have to like offer like sex education courses about like STIs and stuff, just because like think about it. No, well, it's the Olympic Village. All the athletes in the world, you got like just foreign bodies around, like some of the most attractive athletic human beings on planet Earth, all in one area. Like apparently it's just like uncontrollable, and they have to hand out like free condoms to people. Like, be safe, because everyone's just going around like banging each other. I've heard
that's hilarious.
I've heard just like almost disgusting.
That's hilarious. Oh my god. But then like they just cap it off by Cross scoring an OT winner against the Americans.
Yeah. I still love that clip of, I know we're like just still talking about Cross, just a little interjection. I love that clip of John Montgomery, Canadian like skeleton athlete who wins the first gold for us. And someone hands him a beer from the crowd, just slams it on his way to the podium. Legendary. Yeah. Ends up hosting the Amazing Race Canada.
Yeah, what a turn of events that is. This guy goes
John Montgomery, what a lad.
Like, how does he turn what was it? Was it bobsledding or was it
skeleton? The one where you go head first.
Oh yeah. Okay, skeleton.
How do you even end up in that sport is beyond me.
Yeah, and then turn that into hosting the Amazing Race.
I think it's just a character. They're just a patriot.
It's hilarious, honestly. But shout out him. And then one more final shout out on the number 87 here, Rob Gronkowski. I know you wanted to shout him out because there was something specific that was sticking out to you about Rob Gronkowski. So take it away on that one.
Yeah, needed to talk about Rob Gronkowski. Just sonking the Detroit Lions. Retired. He tells that story that I've seen on Instagram a bunch of times. Just tells the world he's retired so he doesn't have to get shipped off to Detroit, and then ends up winning like multiple more Super Bowls for New and then Tampa Bay. So Detroit just can't catch a break, it seems like.
Yeah, how funny is that a guy, I don't even know if he like faked retirement. I think he actually did retire. I think he did retire from the NFL, and then like strictly so that he couldn't get traded to Detroit because there was a deal in place for him to go to Detroit. And he just said, nah, I'm going to retire. Retires, air quotes, I'm doing air quotes, retires. And then is like, actually, yeah, I did that so I couldn't get traded. And then just unretires, comes back, plays in the NFL, and wins another Super Bowl. Like goes to Tampa to play with Tom.
I can't believe that. Like, you know, you've reached some sort of level of success. Like, you have no, like, you give no fucks about what management thinks, or like, just perfectly content dancing around with Shaq and like supermodels, just boozing in Miami, and then coming back and like being a star athlete again and winning a championship.
Yeah, another one because he's
Kinda
won a couple.
nerd. Yeah, and the guy's like just blackout in public, just acting a fool. But it's okay because he's Gronk and can do what he wants, and it's just like it's good for his brand. He's just the partying, what he does, and everybody just lets it go. But if like anybody else did that, even if Sid did that, like I think it would be like biggest deal ever.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I need to ask you about this because I talked about it 2 weeks ago, and I told my first vaccine story. So like actually, there's a bunch of stuff to tie into this one here, but kind of I just want to know how yours ended up going with the second one because I know I texted you like a little warning signal before you went and got yours because you said you're getting a couple days after me. But so my first one, I already told the story on here about my Superman skin. I couldn't get my skin punctured. The second one I went, McGee, humbling experience. I'm going to tell you that. So this day that I went to it was the Scarborough Town Center, and they were only handing out Moderna. They weren't doing Pfizer, and I guess you have to be 18 or older to get it. I don't know if it was just like they're just prioritizing 18 plus, or maybe it was just for the vaccine. I'm not entirely educated on it, but it was just 18 plus that day. So I go into the line. The first person that I'm going through this like tent for is like checking and asking, A, are you okay with Moderna? And B, do you have an appointment? So I walk into the line. First person at the very first like checkpoint, I guess, like as I'm going through, says to me, sir, do you have an appointment today? I said, yes. And she goes, wait, are you over 18? And I was like, okay, whatever, like not thinking much of it. I'm like, yeah, this is just like a regular checkpoint. And like, I was like, yeah, I'm over 18. And she's like, okay, sounds good. Are you okay with Moderna? Yeah. And she goes, okay, proceed. So I go on, I'm about to go through the doors into the Scarborough Town Center. There's paramedics and firefighters handing out hand sanitizer as you go into the doors here to like, I don't know, sterilize everyone as they're going in here. And the firefighter stops me in line and was like, oh, excuse me, you have to be 18 to get your vaccine here. And I was like, yeah, I'm 22. And the guy's like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. And he like starts laughing. He's like, you probably get that a lot. I'm like, yeah, like I a few times actually, like I've been triple pieced, whatever. The guy's laughing. He's like, no, it's a good thing. Like, don't worry about it. And he's like, I'm sorry about that. So whatever. I'm just laughing. So now this is twice. I haven't even gotten in the building. Twice I've been asked if I'm over 18. And the thing is too, like, I obviously knew what it meant, but it was my dad who kind of like brought it to light, was like, these people don't just think I'm 18. They clearly think I'm younger than 18.
But it's crazy to me because you don't look young. Like you're not like a baby faced guy. Like you got a beard, facial hair. Like I don't know. I couldn't see how anybody would mistake you for younger than 18. I don't see it. I don't. See it.
Well, I appreciate that, McGee. Thank you. But I guess maybe just because like I had the mask on and stuff, I don't know if that like makes any kind of difference. But anyways, so now this is twice. I'm about to go into the building. I'm walking through the line as I'm like about to go in, and the lady's like kind of announcing to everyone, we're only doing Moderna here, blah, blah, blah. And she says to me as I'm like walking past her, she's like, sir, you have to be 18 or older to get your vaccine here today. And it was more of like, you're not old enough, like you can't get your vaccine.
In the morning, like it's just, oh my God, some people.
Yeah, so it was more of like a you're not 18, like you can't get your vaccine here, than it was like, are you 18? And I was like, yeah, like I'm 22. And she's like, oh, okay, no worries. And then like I proceed on. So then
At that point, you should just like take your ID out, stick it to your forehead,
yeah.
walk through the line.
Yeah. But I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So 3 times now, twice before I even got in the door, once like while I'm in the line, before I even get to the first 2 checkpoints where they like check in your health card and see if you have an appointment. So the first guy that I go to at the first checkpoint, no problem, young guy as well. He like even says to me, he's like, oh, like I'm surprised like you didn't go down to Scotiabank Arena because like they were, if you went to Scotiabank and made a TikTok or something, you got entered for tickets to a game. And I was like, oh, like what? I'm not gonna like go down there.
It's like the most Gen Z shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, what the hell? Like, do some weird TikTok dance? Like, could it be anything or?
I think it just had to be like recapping your day.
Oh, just to promote what though?
Getting your vaccine, to like encourage people to get vaccines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like what I interpreted from it. But I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not going to Scotiabank Arena to get my vaccine. Like,
also, it's like not everyone's comfortable with posting like their whereabouts and daily activities online forever. Like,
yeah, right. And like just to get entered.
It's just a huge ask. Come on.
And just to get entered to a raffle to like potentially win like tickets to one game or something, right? Like I was like, no, like no thanks. But whatever. So this guy's like, no problems. Just looks at my health card, writes down my info. I go to the next table. Which this was like pretty dumb to me because I'm like, I'm about to hand you my identification and like you can check everything yourself. But like before I give her my ID, she's like, are you over 18? You have to be to get your vaccine here today. And like, I'm about to give you my ID. Like you could look at it yourself and like make that determination. Like that's what your whole purpose is here. But whatever. That's number 4. Okay. So I'm at 4 now, twice inside, twice outside. And then go through that final checkpoint. I'm lined up before they like send you to a table to get your vaccine, whatever. And this was like the most glaring one because there was like a lot of people around to hear this one. And like, I didn't really care. Like, I'm not embarrassed by it. It's more of just like humbling, I guess, like than embarrassing. But I'm next in line and the lady that's like sending people to the tables doesn't question anything. She's like, oh, like table 10 over there, like go over there. I'm like, okay. So like I take like 2 steps. This lady full decked out in like, I don't know if she was a nurse or like a vaccine like person or just someone as a staff. She's wearing like full
like scrubs.
Yeah. Yeah. Full scrubs, the glasses, the face shield, mask, like everything, right? And she takes like, I take like 2 steps and she just comes over and she's like, sir, excuse me.
Hey!
Yeah.
Just full lays out trying to like hold you back. Like you being a day younger than 18 is the worst thing in the world.
Right. But she comes over like the firm, like hand out, like, hey, sir. And she's like, you have to be over 18 to get your vaccine here today. And there's like 15, 20 people behind me and like all these people like sitting around at the tables like nearby. And I was like, and like at this point I've already been asked 4 times, right? So I'm like, yeah, like I'm 22. She's like, oh my God, like I am so sorry. Like, please continue. I was like,
it's like a quick check. I think it's one of the main crucial pieces of identification that we carry with us for exactly that reason, especially in a vaccine clinic. Like, don't make a big stink out of it. Just ask for it. Like, what the hell? And I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world, even if you were like under 18. I don't know. But the good news is, Zach, is that it's better to look younger than to be like a 14-year-old not getting ID at the LC because so
that's
like,
fair.
It is like you're just gonna age like fine wine, baby. You're gonna be like Matthew McConaughey strutting around, like looking like a young guy at like 65, looking 30.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. And that's what everyone's been saying.
Benjamin Button.
Okay, maybe not quite that.
Not Benjamin Button, but yeah, it's. I feel like I have a baby face too. Like I definitely don't look 23 years old, especially when I like shave and have nothing.
Yeah.
Little beady, like my little small eyes and my crooked grin. I just look like a little fucking boy. Yeah. But yeah, there are worse problems to have.
Yes, agreed. But kind of what I was getting to here and what I wanted to find out what your experience was like, because I haven't asked you really since, is like my first shot, I had no side effects. I just had the sore arm. The second one, I got it at like 4 p.m. all night. I felt good. Nothing was wrong. Monday morning, I wake up, sore arm. By like 8, 9 o'clock, like sore arms gone. Like I'm feeling good. I'm like, man, I'm going to be all good here. 10 o'clock comes, and this was the day that it was like really, really hot. I'm pretty sure it felt like 40 with the humidity, and the sun was just glaring. I got hit so hard. Like I felt like I had a horrible hangover. But when you get hungover, I feel like most times you just feel like you're gonna like feel sick and like you're gonna puke kind of thing. It was like the entire hangover experience without that feeling of I'm gonna puke, which was horrible because I feel like when I'm hungover, if I feel like that, I'm just like I'll just puke and I'll probably feel better after. But this is like I can't puke. Like there's nothing here to save me.
Dude, I felt like the same way. Okay, so let me just backtrack and talk about my experience. Definitely not like as crazy a story as yours. I walked in. Originally, my vaccine was scheduled for like September 16th or something around that, and then it got pushed up because I guess they had like a greater ship, like a bigger or something. And the guy with the pharmacy that I got at the first time, just in like South Markham, was like, "Oh, we can push you up to July 19th." Oh, that's great. Like we go up 2 months. That's perfect. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I rescheduled for July 19th. And then I'm like, my dad is texting, well, you could probably get it sooner. Like if you just like look directly and whatever. Like go on to the exact same pharmacy that had just rescheduled my appointment. I go back and I go to their website and then I find an appointment for like 2 days later, like 2 days like after I was looking at the website. So 2 days from now I can get vaxxed. So I just canceled my July 19th appointment, reschedule it to June 28th or whenever the hell I got it. Like 2 days later, fast forward, I get to the pharmacy and it's just a little thing, like nowhere near like as intense. I walk in, it's literally like a corner drugstore in like a plaza. I walk in, and I just put some hand sanitizer on. I go up to the counter. I'm like, hey, how's it going? There we go, not too bad. Vaccine? I'm like, yep. They give me a little clipboard, fill out my information. 5 minutes later, hand it back to the lady. She's okay, just have a seat at the front. I'm like, okay. I sit down. Literally as I'm sitting down, this like ancient man, the pharmacist comes up. Okay, we're ready for you. I'm like, oh my god, perfect. I go up and this guy's a vet because he's got his like degree from like I don't know what, so I can't remember what the school at the time.
By vet, you mean veteran, not veterinarian.
Not a veterinarian, like a veteran of his craft.
Mm-hmm.
And he had on his wall was just a degree, like behind the little like pharmacy desk was a degree from his school. I think it was like some sort of college, but it had like as recertification stickers. I guess you get like recertified, and it went from 1978 all the way up to. He was an old gentleman, but this guy is like he knows what he's doing. This guy's been certified since like the mid 70s. And like it goes all the way up, and the stickers are like wrapping around his degree. It's almost blocking out the actual degree itself.
Like he needs a new paper just to put the recertifications on.
Yeah, he needs a new like blank frame just for his stickers because he's got so many of these bad boys. But he comes in, whatever, bada bing, bada boom, sticks the needle in my arm, sit down for 15 minutes, and away I go. Like just super simple, like way smoother than I thought it would be. But it's good. But same thing with you is I got back that day. My appointment was at 1:45. I get back home, little soreness in the arm. Go to bed that night, like really nothing. And then it hit me kind of in the middle of the night around like 6 a.m. as I'm still in bed. And I like wake up kind of the cold sweats, like raging, just pounding headache. So I just pop a couple extra strength Tylenol, put a hoodie on, get nice and cozy, wake up a couple hours later for work. And then I was fine. I woke up the next day. I'm like, oh my God, that wasn't so bad. Middle of the night, quick fix, and away I go. And then around 10:30, 11, it slams me. And well, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't great either. I probably could have finished the work day out, but I'm like, may as well just enjoy the day off. So I'm like, I'm not feeling well. And then I took a 4 or 5 hour nap. I went to bed at like, I don't know, 11:30, 12, and woke up at like 5 on the dot. And then I had like I mow lawns kind of around my neighborhood. There's a little side gig just for some extra pocket change. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta mow this guy's lawn today. So I go to his place, got some fresh air, mowed the lawn, and then that was that. Like I felt like $1 million after that. Worse. I've heard worse stories. Then my dad, on the other hand, was like he got slammed the first time around, whereas I didn't feel anything my first time around. And the second vaccine, he was popping these extra strength Tylenols like candies, just like every not even every hour. He's just like popping a few, and he's like, "Oh, you feel fine? I feel nothing." I'm like, well, good for you. Maybe I should do that. But yeah, so he got lucky. It's been all over the map though, so I'm just happy everyone's vaccinated. Everyone's still alive. Nobody's getting these weird side effects from the vaccine.
No tails.
Yep, we don't know yet. Only time will tell. But yeah, man, it's good that we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I just
by chipped, I'm not serious. It was a joke. So don't come for me about being a conspiracy theorist.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought it was wild because I just got hit out of nowhere. I just felt like shit at like 10 o'clock, and I was just like down for the count. Like I was battling through the workday, and I was just thinking, because this was the Canada Day long weekend too, and we were taking Thursday off. And if we got the job done, which was like supposed to be a 3-day job, like maybe 3 and a bit, but like longer days would get it done. If we got the job done, like we weren't going to have to work Friday. So we could take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And in the back of my mind, I was just like, if I leave right now, like we're delaying this thing and we're going to have to work Friday. Like I've got to battle through. And I just was like, I would have been sweaty anyways, because it was hot, like doing manual labor outside or whatever. But I was like pouring buckets. Like my shirt I wore like a light gray t-shirt. It was like black. Like I had to like take it off and hang it on the fence, like put on a different shirt because it was like way too sweaty, and like switch back to the shirt. Every 10-15 minutes, I'm soaking my head in water, trying to battle through this. I drank like 10-15 bottles of water, a couple like 5 or 6 Gatorades. Like I was battling through this thing. And 4 o'clock, I have to drive to pick something up from one of our suppliers. I drive in the truck on the way there. I had AC full blast, like as cold as it could go, windows up, and like all the fans in the truck facing me. Drove all the way there, felt a little bit better, ordered my stuff. And then on the way back, I was like, had it all the way up again, got back to site, and I was good. Like 4:30, gone. And then that was it. And I didn't feel it again. But like, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind when I texted you and I was like, hey, like just a little heads up. This is what happened to me on my like with mine.
Dude, not gonna lie, it was a little daunting. Like I think my mom had gotten it like the day before you did, and she was like had to leave work early, just feeling it, like not well. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's just because she's older, or maybe it's because like she was changing up vaccines from like AstraZeneca to Moderna. I'm like, not a big deal. I'm sure like I didn't feel anything the first time. Fingers crossed it's the same or in round 2. And then you text me and you're like, I'll keep you updated. And then you're like, yeah, not good. Like, like just the worst hangover of all time. I'm battling here. And I'm like, oh God, like that's at that point, I kind of figured that it would be the exact same thing for me. And like, it sounds pretty similar in terms of like just the symptoms and even the time of when things like started to hit.
Well, I was thinking too, like I was more texting you to tell you what I felt because like I knew you had to work. And so it's kind of just going to be like, hey, like just a heads up, like if it was like on the weekend, I probably would have like told you like, yo, or like, cause we usually talk like every day pretty much. I would have told you at some point and being like, hey, like I felt like shit after my vaccine, like whatever. But like, I knew you were going into a work day and I just wanted you to be prepared. Like, hey, at any moment, like you could just be fucked up. Like this could happen. This is what I dealt with. It lasted this long. Like these were the symptoms. This is how I dealt with it. Just so you were like, at least like, okay, like this could happen rather than being like, there's no way I'm going to get anything that happens to me.
Yeah, no, I appreciated that, and it did end up ruining my work day. Although
Yeah.
what like I do for work and what you do for work are entirely different in terms of like the actual like I could have easily I think battled through my work day because I'm very rarely needed for anything. I'm just a lowly intern, whereas like you're like a crucial part of your team and like engaged in some heavy labor that's more taxing on the body. So I could have just like coasted by and minimum effort shift, but I wasn't gonna do that. I had to be at 100% to help my team in any way I could. So I'm just like, I'm calling it, and that
Yeah.
was, I slept the whole day, and it was the best medicine, honestly. Like, but we're good, man. I'm just excited for phase 3. Can't wait to get that show on the road.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad like everyone's getting all their vaccines, vaccine rollouts happening. Phases are moving up quickly. I do want to talk about one other kind of government thing that went on here. And it's not, none of these things are like anything to do with the government. They're just like government events that kind of took place. So we're recording this podcast a little early, more just because like my birthday this weekend. So I just taken the weekend, like hanging out, doing some stuff, like, so I just didn't want to edit on Sunday before, because that's when it is. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get it done ahead of time and then take the weekend to hang out. But with it coming up,
Well, Zach, what day is your birthday on the weekend?
on Sunday.
On Sunday. Okay. I just wanted to say that if any listeners of Lads and Launchers don't personally wish Zach happy birthday, you're dead to us.
Thanks, Mickey. Appreciate that. Also, just quickly on that one, don't text me and say anything about LeBron. Don't say LeBron year, nothing like that. That's just bad juju. If you're going to say anything along those lines, it has to be the Jordan year. Like Fred VanVleet, sure. I'll take that one too. Like, just no LeBron year. Thanks. That's all. It's strictly Jordan year. I'll throw in Fred VanVleet if you need, but yeah.
I love how Freddie gets the nod and not LeBron.
Well, yeah, like LeBron's a bum. So like we know we know how we feel about him on this pod. But anyways, with it coming up, I have to go and get my driver's license, my health card renewed. And the thing was, like, I was going to be able to do it. I thought I was going to be able to do it online, and you can just like go through and order both cards on there. But my health card and my driver's license photos were taken like 7-8 years ago. So I needed to get new ones. So I need to get new photos taken. So I had to go into Service Ontario today to get it done. So I go to the Service Ontario place, and as we've said on the show before, we both take notes of things that happen and like things we could talk about or whatever. So it was pouring rain today. We got off work early. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go get this done, go over to Service Ontario. Standing there, you have to wait outside. Kind of sucks. It's like, at least was spitting at this time, not pouring anymore, but grab your ticket, wait outside. So I'm waiting outside, and this guy walks out, and I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. Like, we'll talk about it on the pod. And I put it in the notes. It ended up being the least eventful thing that happened during my Service Ontario trip. But basically, like, this guy walked out. He was a very tall, bald guy, like very, like he was slim, and he was like, you could tell like this guy was fit because he was wearing like a really tight, like all black suit, white dress shirt, black tie, suit jacket, like completely done up, like really like slim fitting suit. He was wearing a black mask and black leather gloves, carrying like a clipboard out of the office. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is up with this guy?
Oh, again.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, what's this guy's yelling? Like, write it in the notes. I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. Like, we'll talk about it on the show.
Johnny Sins on his way to his next themed shoot.
Right. But I'm like, okay, like, who is this guy? What's going on? And I'll talk about this with McGee. No, I go into the Service Ontario thing. So just like for some preference, you walk in, there's on the left-hand side, it's like four clerks. And in front of each pair of clerks is like one photo screen. So I go to the far one, and I'm standing there talking to the guy, telling him what I need. And there's a lady beside me who's like a little bit further ahead in her process. She's there with her husband. She's getting photos taken to get new health card, new driver's license, and like something else done as well, because she needed 2 photos. But as I'm standing there, the guy says to me, can you please take a step to the side? She's getting her photo taken. Like, we don't want you in the way. I said, yeah, no problem. Take a step to the side, and I hear the lady who's going to take the photo, or like sets the trigger off, say to the person who's getting their photo taken, do you have any sensitivity to flash? And she says, nope. So I'm standing there, and camera goes, and then you see the flash go, and I'm not like looking at the lady, obviously getting her photo taken. I'm looking ahead at the guy, and out of the corner of my eye, I see the lady like wave her forward, backwards, and then start like leaning forwards. And her husband grabs her and like pulls her to the side, like away from where I was. And she just hits the deck, lights out. She just passed out on the ground, like lights out.
Full on passed out.
McGee.
On the pretty ass floor of the Service Ontario.
Full pass out. Like, you know, when like you see like people fast pass out or get knocked out or whatever, and they're like, okay, so like I think of like boxing or UFC, like they get knocked out and then they're like hit the ground, and then they're like up, eyes open, like, whoa. I was kind of expecting that, because I like look, obviously I'm like, oh my god, this lady's on the ground, what's going on? And I look, and she's like just out for like a good amount of time. The most, like, that was surprising.
background, like it's your turn. You're still getting your picture taken. Business as usual. Like
No, listen, Mickey. Not one single Service Ontario person. I don't know if like this is like bad rep for them, but like not one of them reacted. Every single person just sat there, like looked at her, like peeped over the desk, and like kept typing on their computers, like serving the person in front of them.
I hate like government workers and just like DMV, the motor vehicle Department of Motor Vehicles, like DMV takes forever. Service Ontario, like they're just getting paid minimum wage and like they just take their sweet time. Like they're miserable all the time. I've never met like a pleasant person to deal with at any of those like government locations. I apologize if either you or a loved one works at a Service Ontario or a DMV, but I said what I said when I meant it.
Yeah, none of them were smiling. None of them were happy at all. They were all just sitting there and they just like looked at this girl and like kept going about their business. And I was like, oh my God, what is going like? I don't know if I should be like trying to help this person. And then her husband just says to the person, it's fine. She just passes out on the flash. I'm like,
Oh, you said no.
yeah. So I'm like, she just asked and you said no.
Maybe she misheard or something. I don't know. I like that's it's. But as a Service Ontario like person, you gotta think you've seen some pretty wild and wacky characters come to those doors over the years. So I feel like they've probably seen some weird shit.
Yeah, agreed. And they probably seen people pass out because of the flash before and stuff too. So like I would imagine that that's not like the biggest of deals. They're probably not like losing their minds over that. They've seen this before, not even just weird people, but like they've seen this before. But then like even just to add to the nonchalantness of the Service Ontario rep, the guy says to me, he goes, okay, so she's still like out on the ground. And her husband's like trying to wake her up and she's not up. And he goes to me, you got to get your picture taken now. And she's like KO'd in front of the screen. I'm like, and I just look at her and I like look back at the guy and he's like, oh, I guess you got to go to that other screen. I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, this lady's just KO'd on the floor right now. What do you want me to do?
Nobody just like, it was just okay.
Yeah. And like, I'm like, does this guy want me to just stand in front of the screen, like above this lady's passed out body and like get my photo taken?
Imagine if you get your photo back and like her, for some reason, like she's getting up kind of at the same time and you just see like her like face in the background of your picture.
Her head's like in the corner.
Like the top of her head or like maybe like an eye is just like in the corner of your photo.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh my God, what the hell's happening? So then finally, like as I'm walking over to the other screen, he like gets her up and she's like sitting there but like awake now. Get my photo taken. And I said to my mom when I got back, like I wonder what my face like looks like in this, because like I'm obviously not like wide-eyed like, oh my God, this person's passing out while my photo is getting taken, but like I just saw this lady KO in the middle of Service Ontario trying to get her photo.
You've seen some shit.
Probably. Yeah, like I'm just like probably like, oh my God, like looking at the camera like, what's going on? Then get my photo taken, walk back over to the desk. She's still being like helped out by her husband. He gets her up into a chair. She's like leaning on the wall, like out, like not like awake, but like not there. And she just says to him, she's like, this is when I found out that there was a second picture to be taken. She says to him, she's like, did they get both pictures or just the one? And he's like, no, just the one. They still have to take the other one. I'm like, oh my, this is gonna happen again.
Yeah. Imagine they're gonna need to pull like a Weekend at Bernie's type situation. Just throw sunglasses on her, like her body's limp, and just like some puppet master's got a controller to hold her upright for her photo.
Yeah. So I got out of there before that second photo got taken, but that was like my Service Ontario driver's license, health card renewal experience. And I was like, just going in there like, oh yeah, this is the fun. Like we'll talk about this random guy who walked out in a suit. Like what a character. And then I was like, no, we're going to talk about the lady who passed out basically at my feet right beside me. Like she was so close to me, Miggy, when she hit the deck, because like it's a very small area where you're getting up to the counter and going through this whole process. And she's just right beside me and like out. I was like, oh my God. And then nobody reacting. Her husband saying she passes out from the flash. I'm like, I just heard the mask sensitivity and you said no. Like it was just weird experience. Like, wow, I got to go to these government things more often because interesting stuff seems to happen when I'm there.
Yeah, man, you've had like a wild ride these past few months with just like government officials and just like weird stuff in public settings going on.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Keeps things interesting, especially in a time when you can't really like get that full glimpse of what like free life is like. Still got to be a little vigilant about where you are and who you interact with, just in terms of numbers. But no shortage of entertainment in this summer with everything, all things considered.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it keeps things interesting, keeps you on your toes, that's for sure. So I don't know, that was pretty funny. But the other thing I want to talk about here really quick, because I know that like you experienced this one too, and I think it was pretty funny, was because today was a rain day and I got off work early. Rain can really mess you up. Like honestly, as much as you don't realize it, even whether you're inside or outside, in the rain, out of the rain, whatever the case may be, rain can really change your day. I feel like just like the pressure outside, the humidity, the changing of temperatures, because it goes like hot, cold, dark, light, like everything's changing as it goes. Being outside in it, like I just came back, my muscles hurt, my back hurt, my like I was so tired from gas from it. Go to the Service Ontario, have this experience, come back, and I was like laying down on TikTok, and I was like, all right, I need to pass out because I'm so tired right now. Set an alarm on my phone for like 40 minutes later and just lay down and like lights out. Waking up from a nap is one of the wildest feelings ever. Like, especially it can change throughout what time you take your nap during the day. But like waking up is in the middle of the day is just a wild feeling.
Yeah, especially if it's one of those unplanned naps. Like it's like you're just lying there and then you just pass out. Or like
Yeah.
I could go for a nap, but you don't actively put your phone away. Like, you don't actively get ready for it. It just kind of happens. Then you
Mhm.
wake up and you have no idea. Like I remember one time taking a nap like, after school at like 3 p.m. and waking up at 11 p.m. And I woke up, I saw 11 on my clock. I'm like rummaging around. Oh my God, I got to get my shit. I'm late for school. Like, and I get downstairs and it's like pitch black out. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, wait, what? I was
11 and it's dark. Like,
yeah, I was so confused. I'm like trying to put the pieces together of what just happened. Had no idea. I'm like hadn't eaten. No one woke me up for dinner. Like I'm just like out. I guess my parents thought it'd be a good idea to let me sleep. I don't know, but the day literally just like flew by. I don't know if like someone drugged me. Like what the hell? Like, who sleeps that long for a nap from 3
yeah.
to 11 p.m.? It's unheard of. So I just like woke up so confused. So I know what you're talking about when the naps can be confusing, and then there are the naps where you wake up just like drenched in sweat and confused, like it's just you wake up and like like a fucking just like oh my God, like what fucking eat.
Those naps, I think, that were the worst because like the wake up like almost just like completely wipes the nap. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you wake up and you mentioned it to me before because I told you like I took a nap and you were like, yeah, the sweat naps are like the worst because like you sweat and like I don't want to steal your line, but like you said to me, like you sweat so much during those like midday naps. Like it's insane. But you wake up from one of those and you're like sweaty and cold and you're just like, like, whoa, like where am I? What's going on? You're like lost.
yeah, and I was saying it's like I don't know if it's like the extra clothing you have on, like if you're just passed out in your clothes or like what the case may be, but I don't think I could do a full workout and not sweat as much as I do, like taking one of those like naps. And it literally feels like I'm like napping in a longhouse or something. Like just like, oh my God, it's crazy. And I just don't understand, like, I don't know. I don't know why I do it. Because it defeats the purpose. Like you said, you wake up and it defeats the purpose of the nap because it takes more out of me trying to figure my shit out when I wake up than I was that had enough energy from the rest for.
Yeah, it's only those like certain ones though. I feel like the ones where you like sweat or you like wake up like really unexpected. You're like whoa, what's going on? Some of the ones like where it's like a planned nap, those ones are nice. Or like a pregame nap, those ones always you feel pretty good after the fact. Like the one I had today was pretty good. I was just disoriented when I woke up, especially like with my alarm going off. And this was the most trippy part because like I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, and my alarm was set for 5 p.m. So I woke up, I woke up and was like, oh my God, like it's 5. And then I was like, I'm still in my clothes, like my lights are on. And then I like heard people talking and I was like, oh, like, okay, it was my nap. And I was like, oh, I'm good. Like everything's good. But I was like, oh my God, did I like sleep all the way until the next morning?
It's yeah. That's there's nothing worse than like just a feeling of uncertainty and just kind of like so you lose a grasp of like like reality. You lose a grasp of reality for a quick second. It's like you don't know where you are. You don't know when you are. Like you're kind of just like floating through the cosmos, like unsure of like your place in the world.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah. It was a weird experience. But yeah, I think we're pretty much at the end of episode 87 here. I do want to cover a couple of things before we head out. One being, if you have any weird vaccine stories, government experiences, if you had an experience getting a license or going to get your driver's license, or even if you were taking your driver's test, because I know a lot of people have like interesting experiences with driver's tests. If you have any stories like that you want to share, you want us to know about, make sure you DM us on Instagram at Lads and Lawn Chairs. Like message us, message Ryan or I personally, and tell us about these experiences, because we want to hear them. We want to share them on the pod. If you want to come on and tell these stories, we'd be happy to have you on, as long as you got a good enough story to actually come out here and share. Like, some of this stuff is just so funny to hear, all the experiences and things. Like, I feel like at this point people might think I'm just lying about these things because I've had them so frequently in the last little while.
I mean, it's good for us, good content for the pod.
Yeah, but like, it's entertaining stuff. So if you've got anything like that, let us know, reach out, whatever the case may be. The other thing is, if you know anyone that you think we should interview, or you have anything like that, like, let us know, reach out to us, because we'd be happy to interview people. I got to give a huge shout out to Damon Kalba. Him and Ty, the Kalba brothers, they've been listening to the podcast since day one. They're huge supporters. I know they were both excited when we started this podcast back up again. They hooked us up with the Philip Pritchard interview. So that was absolutely incredible. That was one of my favorite interviews that we've got to do on here. I know he said he'd come back on now that the Stanley Cup's being handed out again. Also, congratulations, Anthony Cirelli. Like, let's talk about that real quick here. 3 straight Stanley Cup champions for the Lads and Lawn Chairs. Robert Thomas, now Anthony Cirelli twice. A little bit of a lads bump. If you want to win a Stanley Cup, just come on the Lads and Lawn Chairs podcast. We had the guy who looks after the Stanley Cup. So like, what more could you ask for there? But they hooked us up with Philip Pritchard. Now Damon's hooking us up with another guest that we're going to have coming up in the next couple of weeks. So there'll be more interviews, more guests to come. Really appreciate.
So I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was just in the works today that I was figuring out some stuff. So I'll tell you about that one, McGee. But
also, so just to tell the listeners here, in terms of our guest grind, we were in talks to get the Tragically Hip on. They said maybe. Well, not right now. We'll get back to you. So if you're a true fan of our Lads and Lawn Chairs podcast, just like spam their socials.
Yeah, tell them to come on, Lads.
Tell them to come on. We want them.
Yeah.
So what was the woman's name? Victoria, something with a V, I believe. But she seemed very lovely and cordial. She was like a rep for them, and she said no, not at this time. We said okay, but we will have them on.
We will. We're gonna hunt them down. That could be our white whale at this point in time.
I think it is, like, as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know what I was thinking about when you were talking about the driver's license like story? I was just like thinking of that song in my head, like, got my driver's license last week.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about. Until the lady took the picture and the flash knocked me the fuck out. little rendition for it.
Oh my God, McGee, on Monday when this episode comes out, can you please like post that on the story of you singing that with just like the instrumental music playing in the background? I would die for you to sing that. Maybe if you write up some lyrics or something, if you've got time, you put together a thing. Maybe we'll make a music video of you doing it. That would be pretty good.
Background, whole 9 yards. Break into Bill Crothers and utilize their context studio.
Exactly. We'll set it up.
Yeah, I'll write a whole song about this one and we'll release it on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, that also leads into one of my final points before we head out here is if you haven't already, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to us, wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you subscribe, share us, rate, review, comment on podcasts, like give us a review. Go onto our YouTube channel, Lads and Lawn Chairs, subscribe to our account there, subscribe to our channel, like the video, share them with your friends. Like if you like watching the guests that we have on, if you're someone who doesn't necessarily put headphones in and listen to a podcast, maybe you want to have it on in the TV in the background, check out our YouTube channel. All the episodes that we've had since we returned are up there. All of our interviews with our guests are up there. You can see our guests. It's a really cool experience because another thing is it's not just like, oh, you get to listen to these guys that we get to interview. If you go on YouTube, you can see these people interacting with us. Like they're all up there. So it's really cool to see that and like see these guests that we have on. So subscribe there.
Reactions, like our stupid reactions to shit, like how we go about just like listening to each other's stories and stuff. Like I have a friend who, when he's at the office, he worked from home for a bit, and him and his dad had an office, and they'd watch our video on YouTube in their office, and they loved it. He said it was so funny, just like listening to it's like they had a couple extra lads in the room keeping them company, just bantering, just background noise. So they really enjoyed it. It adds another element to the pod for sure.
Mhm.
But it's good. Or if you're just like a lonely person, no shame in that. Just like if you want just to have some in the background, just filling up the
Yeah,
room.
just debate us with yourself. Like debate us and tell us how dumb we are for some of these takes and all the things that we've gotten wrong over the years, but we've said so confidently that they're true. Just tell us how wrong we are and like fact check us because we appreciate that. McGee, one more thing for myself here before I hand it off to you to give us a closeout. This is the Sidney Crosby episode, number 87. There's nobody else that this could go to. Before we go, I just want to give off all the lists of this guy's accomplishments in his career. Just like one final time, like one last Sid the Kid hurrah. Shout out Sid the Kid. So here we go. A QMJHL champion, a Memorial Cup champion, a World Junior gold medalist, a World Championship gold medalist, a World Cup gold medalist, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, recipient of the Mark Messier Leadership Award, two-time Maurice Richard Trophy winner, two-time Art Ross Trophy winner, two-time Hart Trophy winner, three-time Ted Lindsay Award winner, three-time Stanley Cup champion, a member of the Triple Gold Club, incredible, and a two-time Conn Smythe Award recipient. Also the guy who gave us the golden goal. What more else is there to say about Sid the Kid? So that's all from me, McGee. What an episode this was. I mean, an absolute pleasure to sit down and talk to you and share these dumb stories. But yeah, what an app.
I'm gonna be sitting cross-legged on the floor right now.
Is that a toy dog behind you or is that a blanket? Oh, no, it's a pillow.
I'm sitting cross-legged on the floor. My knees and hips are just in such agony right now, but I think it's all worth it. Well worth it. Because this was a hell of an interview. And I think
interview.
Hey, this is a hell of an episode. Oh my god, my mind is just all over the place. But this was a hell of an episode, and I think for it being the Sidney Crosby episode, we definitely did it justice. This may be one of our better free-flowing episodes, without a guest. I will go as far as to say that this is our best non-guest episode ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mark it down, guys.
It is. So an episode fit for a player like Sid the Kid. Plenty more to come. So stay tuned. Catch us next week, same time, same place, same lawn chairs. Cheers, lads and lads.
Cheers.